Rescue efforts ramping up in British Columbia, but for those at the center of it, the troubles are far from over. People who live in areas affected by the flooding have been banding together, including the man you're about to meet. His farm has not seen the same devastation as the farms around the Abbotsford area, but he has been helping his fellow farmers, even housing cattle. He says he's seen entire livelihoods submerged under 6 feet of water. So how can the government help those people whose livelihoods are now on the line, and some of those livelihoods may be lost? Let's find out. And bring in the chair of the BC Dairy Association, Holger Switzenberg. Thanks for taking the time for Power Play. I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Yeah, thank you for reaching out to us.
Hey, you're joining us from Agassiz. Your farm's so far safe, but you've been doing a lot of work for fellow farmers. Tell us what the situation has been like. What are you seeing?
So on Tuesday afternoon, the 60 dairy farms in the eastern end of the Sumas Prairie had their evacuation orders. And fellow farmers kicked into high gear, trucks, trailers, and got as many animals out of there as they could. Of course, with an evacuation order, you have to leave. The families and the farmers, they left and took as many of the animals with them. And people at my end, and Chilliwack and Agassiz neighbors, they took as many animals as they possibly could. We've got 30 milking cows and 15 dry cows and heifers that we're housing. We're pretty full right now, but we're doing our best to help our fellow farmers. And we've told them, look, we'll take care of your animals as long as it's needed.
We know that part of British Columbia, you know this very well, of course, the key to the agricultural sector, the breadbasket in a lot of ways. What is this going to mean to some of those farmers' livelihoods?
I'm not going to speculate, but I can imagine that some of those farms, if they've been in 5 or 6 feet of water, there's going to be a fair amount of cleanup required, probably electrical repairs, getting the animals back, assessing the feed inventory, getting bedding back into the barns, farms. So a lot of work will be required to get those farms up and running again, but we'll do our best to get that going as quick as possible.
Yeah, and it's just remarkable to see all the people who are coming out, people such as yourself, to help others in need. What kind of help do you think the government can do here?
Again, I don't want to speak on behalf of the government. I think federally and provincially, the cleanup, the road repair, getting farmers up and running again, perhaps helping with repairs, infrastructure upgrade, whatever it takes to get the milk production back to where it was before this all happened.
Right, and the idea of, yet more rain in the forecast and trying to figure out how to prevent something like this from happening again. These are such difficult questions to answer, aren't they?
Yeah, and this was an unprecedented rain event. They had 7 inches of rain in 24 hours. I've got friends on the prairies, they don't get that in a year. So that is an awful lot of water to deal with. And the Sumas Prairie area is quite low. It's where the water tends to go. And the other problem they have is that the water in Barrowtown is 2 feet lower than the Fraser River. So everything that leaves the Sumas Prairie has to be pumped out. It can't flow out. So that adds to the challenge.
And Holger, I'm just curious, what are people saying to you? I mean, just watching this unfold, people you've been helping out. I mean, I know it's a tight community. What are you hearing from people?
Well, I think, first of all, a lot of people are thankful for all the help and the people that step up to, whether it's food, whether it's housing, whether it's providing trucks. I think I also hear a certain amount of frustration because people would like to go back and look after their cattle, but it's an evacuation order, so the authority, emergency services, you need special permits and stuff, but I think everyone's trying to work to the same goal, which is to get as many animals out as we can, make sure the families are safe, and take care of as many of those animals as possible, and then tackle the next problem.
Holger Switzenberg joining us from Agassiz, British Columbia. Listen, thank you so much for taking the time. I know it's been a lot this week, but we really appreciate you taking a bit of time to come on the program today.
Super, and thanks for listening. Take care. Bye-bye.